I saw her in my dreams. Now she's standing at my door. Have you ever dreamt of someone you've never met, only to find them staring back at you in the waking world? What if that dream wasn't just a dream? What if it was a warning or a calling? My name is Tyler, and I saw her first in my dreams. Now she's real, and she's at my front door. I used to scoff at people who believed dreams could bleed into reality. I thought lucid dreams, night terrors, sleep paralysis, they were just tricks of the subconscious. But now I know better. It began 4 nights ago. I remember it vividly because everything about that night felt wrong from the moment I shut my eyes. In the dream, I stood on a foggy hillside. Wind howled through barren trees like a chorus of whispers, but I was completely alone until I wasn't. A figure emerged from a mist. She didn't walk. She drifted. Her white dress clung to her as if soaked in dew. Her long black hair tangled like vines. But it was her face that stopped me cold. It was shrouded, veiled by her hair, until she looked up. She had no eyes, just smooth, pale skin where sockets should have been. Yet I felt her watching me. I couldn't look away. "You left the door open," she said, her voice dry and hollow, like wind through a crypt. "What door?" I asked, but she only smiled and the dream ended. I woke in a cold sweat, heart pounding. I shrugged it off as a nightmare. Too many horror podcasts before bed. I went about my morning like normal. But as I sipped my coffee, I noticed something odd. The front door, the one I always lock, was ajar. Just a sliver, but enough for cold air to drift in. I blamed myself. Maybe I'd forgotten. Maybe I was more tired than I realized. That night, she came again. The same fog, the same dream. But this time, she was closer. I could see her mouth twitching under her veil of hair, her cracked lips parting in a silent grin. I wanted to run, but I couldn't move. She lifted a bony finger and pointed behind me. "She's already inside," she whispered. I spun around. Darkness. Endless, smothering black. Then, a hand clamped down on my shoulder. I screamed myself awake, gasping, clawing at my bed sheets. My phone said 3:33 a.m. The room was ice cold, and the bedroom door was open. I live alone. For the first time in years, I felt true fear. I checked every corner of my apartment, closets, under the bed, even the cabinets. Nothing. No one. Just silence and the low hum of the refrigerator. But I couldn't shake her image. That eyeless stare. That voice echoing in my skull. "You left the door open." I barely slept after that. By night 3, I was dragging myself through the day, surviving on coffee and paranoia. I installed a camera in my bedroom, just to prove to myself it was all in my head. That night, I took a sleeping pill, desperate to escape her. But dreams don't care about pills. This time, the dream began in my apartment. Everything was almost right, but off, like a mirror image. My walls bled shadows. The clock spun counterclockwise. The refrigerator buzzed a low chant in a language I couldn't understand. She was already standing in my hallway. "You dream loud," she crooned. Now I'm wide awake. I tried to scream, to run, but she raised her hand and pressed a finger to her lips. Her smile widened. "You'll wake the others." Then she vanished, and I woke up, gasping, drenched in sweat, heart thundering. I grabbed my phone and checked the bedroom camera footage. And there it was. At 3:33 a.m., the door creaked open by itself. No wind, no motion, just slowly creaking open. And for 3 full minutes, nothing. Then a flicker, a shape in the hallway. Thin, pale, and gone. I didn't sleep the next night. I stayed up, lights on, armed with a baseball bat. But no dreams came. Just silence. False security. Then came tonight. I was dozing on the couch, barely conscious, TV flickering static across the room, when I heard it a knock. 3 slow, deliberate knocks on my front door. I froze. Another knock. Closer, somehow deeper. Then a voice. "I saw you dreaming." It was her voice. I crept to the peephole, praying I'd see nothing. But she was there, pale, veiled in black hair. Her face pressed close to the wood, just inches from my eye. "You left the door open," she whispered again, and the handle began to turn. I bolted back, locked the door, threw the chain. My heart slammed against my ribs. I didn't imagine it. She's real. Somehow, she's real, and she wants in. I don't know what she is. I don't know why she chose me, but something tells me I open more than a door when I dreamed of her. This isn't just a haunting. It's an invitation, and I think I've already accepted. I didn't sleep after she knocked. I just sat there, wide-eyed and shaking on the couch, clutching the metal bat like it could actually protect me. The air was thick, too still. Every sound, from the fridge humming to the pipes ticking, felt like it was hiding something else underneath, like a low breath just behind the walls. The chain on the front door was still intact, but the wood around it had splintered, like someone tried to rip it open with their bare hands. I told myself maybe it was a home invader, some maniac or stalker, but I already knew that wasn't true, because of what was left behind. When the sun finally started bleeding through the blinds, I worked up the nerve to open the door. Slowly, bat still in hand, and there on the welcome mat was a wet footprint. Just one, barefoot, small, like a woman's, but stretched oddly long, with splayed toes, as if the foot had bones in the wrong places. There were no prints leading away, just that one, like she had stepped into this world and never stepped out. I called in sick that morning, locked every window, hung towels over the mirrors, even stuffed salt along the threshold like I saw in some paranormal video. But deep down, I knew it wouldn't matter, because later that day, while scrolling through my photos, I saw something I didn't take. A picture of my front door, taken from inside the apartment. Time-stamped, 3:33 a.m. My hands went cold. I live alone. No one has a key but me. I tried to delete the photo, but every time I hit delete, my phone froze. The screen flickered, and then that horrible phrase from the dream appeared again. You left the door open. I dropped the phone. Let it slide under the couch like that would protect me. I should have thrown the thing out the window. That night, I tried to stay awake again, but around midnight, my vision blurred, and I passed out on the floor. When I woke up, I was somewhere else. It wasn't my apartment. It was a long, dimly lit hallway, lined with rotting wallpaper and broken picture frames. The floor creaked under my steps like it had been waiting for me. The air was thick with mold and something worse, grief. Heavy, choking grief. I walked slowly, afraid to look behind me. Then I saw the door. Not just any door. Her door. The same one from the dream. Smeared across the front in what looked like blood were the words. You invited me. The knob turned on its own. The door creaked open, and there she was, sitting on the bed, pale legs swinging slowly, her long black hair covering her face. Her skin looked wet, like she'd just climbed out of a lake. She tilted her head toward me, but didn't speak. Instead, she laughed. It was quiet, crooked, almost like a child trying to imitate laughter, but getting it horribly wrong. Then her body jerked, twitched, and she stood in one fluid, unnatural motion. She took one step toward me, and I screamed myself awake. It was morning. At least I thought it was until I checked the clock. 3:33 a.m. Again, my apartment was dark, the lights all off, even though I remembered leaving every single one on. I stood up, shaken, aching all over. That's when I noticed the bedroom door. It was open, and I never leave it open. Slowly, bat in hand, I walked toward it. There, carved into the wood with what looked like fingernails, were 3 words. Let me in. I didn't sleep again after that, not even by accident, but I started seeing her while I was awake. In reflections, in bus windows, once behind me in a security mirror at the gas station, just for a second, just long enough to see her smile. I can feel her presence now, like a storm cloud that follows only me. The scent of damp earth, the soft thump of bare feet behind me when I turn out the lights. I checked the hallway camera again today. It captured footage last night, exactly 3:33 a.m. A figure standing in front of my door. Not knocking this time, just standing, still, waiting. The face is blurry, flickering, but I swear, she's getting clearer every night. And she's closer now, so much closer. The knock came at exactly 3:33 a.m. again. 3 knocks, louder, more intentional, not like a visitor, more like a warning, or a promise. I didn't go to the door this time. I already knew what I'd find, nothing, or worse. So I stayed frozen in my bed, barely breathing. But the knocking didn't stop. 3 knocks, then silence. Then, a whisper through the keyhole. My name, in her voice, soft, cracked, as if the syllables were held together by wet string. Daniel, my breath caught in my throat. I hadn't told anyone about her, not a single soul, and yet she spoke my name like she'd known it all her life, like she'd been whispering it for years from behind the glass of every dream. The whisper faded. The hallway felt quiet again, but the door, it was different. There were scratches on it, long, deep gashes, not just around the lock, those I'd seen before, but now across the wood itself, vertical, like claw marks, and smeared below them was something black and tar-like, thick, oozing into the grain of the wood. It reeked of rot and lake water. I didn't touch it. I couldn't. Instead, I called my friend Lena. She was the only one who'd ever believed me when I'd mentioned the dreams months ago. And though I never told her how bad they'd gotten, she could hear the fear in my voice. I think something followed you out, she said flatly. And now it wants in. That word again. Wants in. Lena had studied folklore, old dream entities, things that blurred the line between reality and sleep. She warned me once, half joking, about dream parasites, entities that attach themselves to the weak-minded through repeated visions. But I wasn't weak-minded. Was I? Did you say her name? Lena asked suddenly. In a dream? Or aloud? I paused. Thought back. Yes, I had said her name. Once. On the second night. She asked for her in the dream, and I idiotically whispered it back to her. Mara, a name as old as salt, as cold as wet soil. I never remembered hearing it before that night, but it rolled off my tongue like it had always been there. Lena gasped. That's it, she said. She needed permission. That night, Lena came over with a duffel bag full of occult gear, candles, chalk, dried herbs, a silver bell that jingled like glass cracking. She was serious now, her smile gone. We performed a warding ritual in the apartment. Salt in every corner. Candles at each window. My blood, just a drop, in the center of a chalk circle. We chanted her name once, then reversed it. Ha-um, ha-um, ha-um. The flame flickered. The walls groaned. And for a moment, just a flicker of a second, I saw her face in the mirror. Not through it. In it. Pressed against the glass from the inside. Lena screamed. The mirror shattered. And the lights went out. I don't remember the rest of that night, clearly. Just scattered images. Lena vomiting black water. My fingers shaking uncontrollably. A whisper that never stopped, even when I pressed my ears shut. By morning, Lena was gone. Just gone. Her bag was still here. Her shoes. Her jacket. But not her. And the door? It was still locked. No signs of forced exit. Just a wet footprint leading toward the mirror. And carved into the floor, in that same tarry black substance, were the words. One came through. Now I'm scared to sleep, but I'm more scared to stay awake. I see her reflection in every screen now. In every spoon, every puddle. Not always clearly, but like a stain that won't wash off. She's not just haunting me. She's anchored to me. And I think she's looking for another way out. Another door. Because when I closed the blinds this morning, I saw something I can't explain. Outside my window, across the street, in Lena's apartment, she was standing in the window, smiling, wearing Lena's hoodie. After seeing her in Lena's window, I did something I haven't done since this nightmare began. I left, grabbed my keys, barely remembered shoes, and ran. I don't even remember locking the door, just the cold wind smacking me in the face, sobering me like a slap as I stood beneath Lena's apartment complex. Third floor, fourth window to the right, curtains fluttering, lights off, no movement, but I know what I saw. Still, I had to check. Even if every cell in my body screamed, don't go up there, I couldn't leave Lena behind, if she was even still alive. Her front door was slightly ajar. That was the first red flag. The second, the humming. Low, off-key, a child's lullaby, sung slow, like it was dragging itself through the hallway. I stepped in and immediately felt it. The temperature dropped. It was freezing. Not just someone left a window open cold. No, this was funeral parlor cold. Lena, I whispered. No answer. Just the hum continuing, louder now. I walked past the kitchen. Plates were stacked neatly. Fridge door shut. Nothing out of place. But the further I moved, the more my vision seemed to shimmer. like the air had thickness to it. Heat waves? No, more like the veil of a dream, the filmy unreality I always felt just before waking. And then I reached her bedroom. Door shut, a note taped to it, scrawled in handwriting I didn't recognize. She learned the mirror. Don't look. My breath hitched, but the humming was coming from inside that room, and I had no choice. I opened the door. Lena's room was dark, except for the full-length mirror in the far corner. It was glowing, not with light, but with movement, like water rippling beneath the glass. In front of it stood someone. Not Lena. It was her shape, her size, her hoodie, but her arms were too long, hanging past her hips, and her head tilted at a sharp angle, like it had been snapped and half-corrected. She didn't turn to face me. She didn't need to, because in the mirror, I saw the true face. Not Lena's. Mara's. Her mouth was full of teeth, far more than human. Her eyes were empty, pitch black like tunnels with no end. And she was grinning. But what chilled me most was the reflection beside her. Me. I was in a mirror too, but I wasn't standing in front of it. I was inside it. Trapped. My mirror self stared back at me, mouth wide in a silent scream. It raised its hand and slammed it against the other side of the glass, desperate. And in that moment, I understood. She'd already pulled part of me in. I ran. Didn't speak. Didn't think. I just bolted down the stairs, out of the building, back into the night where it was warm again, where the air didn't buzz with static and false memory. I drove for hours. Didn't matter where. I just had to move. Had to get away. But you can't outrun something that lives in reflections. I stopped at a gas station off Route 17, barely able to breathe. I splashed water on my face in the grimy bathroom, told myself it wasn't real, that I was hallucinating, that Lena would call tomorrow, annoyed at my paranoia. Then I looked in the mirror, and I wasn't alone. She was behind me, not in the room, just in the mirror, her mouth right next to my ear grinning. And for the first time, she spoke a full sentence. You left the door open, Daniel. The lights flickered, and then every mirror in that gas station shattered at once. I don't know how I got home. My phone is dead. My car is covered in frost. But the second I stepped into my apartment again, something had changed. My mirrors, all of them, were gone. Shattered. Or worse, missing. I didn't break them. I didn't remove them. They were just gone, like someone had pulled them straight out of the walls. I think she's building something. A gateway. And she's using every reflective surface as a step closer to permanence. She's tired of dreaming. She wants to exist. I found something else just now, slipped under my door. No post-it. No fingerprints. Just a photo. Old. Sepia-toned. It showed a group of doctors and nurses standing in front of what looked like a sanatorium. The name carved above the building. Marehill Institute for Sleep Disorders. And among them a girl. Long black hair. Pale dress. Smiling. Her face was circled in red pen. And on the back of the photo, written in smeared ink. She was patient zero. She's not just a spirit. She's a remnant of something far older. A dream plague once contained, now loose through mirrors, names, and open doors. And I'm her anchor. I didn't sleep last night. Didn't even blink. Not because I was afraid to, though I was, but because the mirrors are gone now. All of them. Every pane of glass, every reflection, every screen that used to hold her, vanished. And yet I can still feel her. She's here. Close. Pacing just outside the reach of my vision, like a storm gathering behind my eyes. But now I know her name. Mara Vell. A patient from 1933. Committed to Marehill Institute after claiming she could walk through dreams and trap others in her sleep. The doctors documented her nightmares, trying to cure what they thought was schizophrenia or early-onset dementia. But then others started seeing her, in their dreams, then in the corners of mirrors. Then, one by one, they stopped waking up. Marehill was shut down in 1937. The official report cited unethical dream experimentation and mass hysteria. But I found audio logs, real ones, digitized and buried in a forgotten archive. One of the tapes shook me to the marrow. She's not dreaming anymore. We are. She put us here. This whole world is inside her. Don't look at her reflection. Don't say her name. And for God's sake, don't sleep in the same place twice. I'm breaking every rule now, because she's broken them first. Tonight, I went back to where it started. Back to the abandoned Mare Hill Institute. I had to. The dreams were collapsing into reality, and I knew the only way to stop her was to find the place where she first breached the veil. The drive was long, silent. No music, no mirrors in the car. I even covered the rear view. By the time I arrived, the forest had swallowed the old structure almost completely. The building looked hollow, as if the rot had eaten away its insides but left its skin intact. There was something wrong with the sky above it. No stars, no moon, just blackness churning like water, as if the heavens were reflecting what was inside. Inside Mare Hill, the walls pulsed like they remembered screams. Floorboards groaned with every step, like voices trying to warn me away. But I followed the hum, the same one from Lena's apartment. It led me to the basement, where cold air fell like a curtain and the light from my flashlight flickered, then failed. And there she was, Mara, standing in front of a broken mirror, one hand raised, like she was waiting for someone to hold it. Her head tilted, mouth twitching with that too wide grin. But this time I didn't run. I stepped forward, and she spoke. "Why do you fight, Daniel?" I only wanted to be remembered. Her voice was an echo of 1,000 dreamers, layered and weeping. "You're not real," I whispered. "You're a construct, a parasite." She giggled a dry, ancient sound. "Then why do you keep dreaming of me?" Suddenly, she lunged, not at me, but into the mirror, and my own reflection twisted, warped, and opened its mouth. I saw every nightmare I've ever had rush past in a blur. Falling teeth, endless hallways, drowning shadows, until I stood before a doorway in a pitch-black field. A mirror made of stars, and on the other side of it her world, a realm made of unlived memories, unfinished dreams, broken minds. She was trying to drag me through, to replace me, but I had come prepared. I reached into my bag and pulled out the shard from the first mirror she cracked in my apartment, polished and bound in a circle of salt. The only piece still connected to the outside. I stabbed it into the mirror's surface. Reality shuddered. A horrible wail tore through the air, shaking the floor. And suddenly, she began screaming. Mara convulsed, her body breaking into dozens of reflections, all trapped inside the glass, clawing and howling, no longer able to escape. The mirror imploded, the shards burning with black fire, and I was thrown back into Mare Hill's basement, gasping. The hum had stopped. She was gone. I stayed there on the floor for what felt like hours, then crawled outside into the pale light of dawn. The sky was back, stars fading, sun rising, and for the first time in weeks, I fell awake. It's been 6 days. I've smashed every reflective surface I can find. I cover screens, avoid puddles, don't even look into people's eyes for too long. But I haven't dreamed since. Not once. No nightmares. No voices. Nothing. It should feel like a victory. But you know what scares me most? It's the emptiness. Like she took something with her. Something I needed. And last night, I found a note taped to the inside of my window. You locked the mirrors, but you forgot the glass in your eyes. See you soon, Daniel. I looked in the mirror this morning, just for a second, and I swear I saw her blink.